the first thing I want to talk about is the GPS unit itself. On another video clip you'll understand how to use the unit, but I want to just speak quickly to the idea of the lanyard with the GPS units. It's important that it's used around the neck of whoever's using the unit, and kids get that quite easily because you ask them, why is this, and it's simply because we don't want it to drop and fall or break or land in the water or into mud or anything like that. Kids are like adults. If I hand this to someone and it's on their finger, typically what ends up happening is it starts to spin like this, just like if it was a set of keys on a lanyard. Let's ensure that they're not doing that, simply because the plastic that connects the lanyard to the unit is very fragile, it's very thin. And if these lanyards break off, then it's just more difficult to use these and ensure that they aren't breaking. So make sure the lanyard's used by whoever is in charge of the unit for that geocache. Let's say this surrounding area is my classroom. What a gorgeous classroom that would be, but today it is my classroom, and this unit can tell me when I'm in the classroom, I'm in a 10-meter radius or whatnot, but this unit is not good enough to tell me that I am standing 3 feet away from this tree. It's not that accurate. And knowing that, we have to teach the kids and get them to explore and understand that I use this to get to my destination. I do not use this to actually find the cache. What I use to find the cache are my eyes and my teammates. So this will tell me when I'm getting close to the destination. And once it's done that, okay, simply as I'm using it, if it says I'm arriving at destination, simply I put it around my neck, and myself and my partners try to find the cache that has been hidden. When we're talking about our caches and hiding the caches, obviously they can be different things. Right here is a container I have that has a label on it saying do not disturb. It has a lot of things in it. And from other videos you'll see that caches can be very different sizes, and a lot of things can be in it. For our intention, they're likely going to have some type of a small container with some type of reading within it, or maybe some small material depending on what it is we're doing. When it comes to hiding caches, there's some basic rules of it. One, I tell the kids, wherever you hide it, you must be able to see it. Now, if I hide something behind a tree, from one angle I may not be able to see it, but if I come from a different approach, I will see it. So that's important. It has to be visible. We don't want kids burying these. Like, it's fall right now in the park. We don't want them putting a bunch of leaves over top of the items. When it's winter, we don't want them burying it in the snow. It has to be visible. And two, it needs to be in reach. Okay? So we aren't climbing up a tree to put it in. We're not putting it in any areas where there's no access. Like, we're not going to throw it over a fence and say go and get it when that's off limits or it's prohibited to be in there. So it has to be somewhere they can reach, because the idea of it, and that leads me to my next point, is when we do find the cache and we get what we need from it, it is very imperative that we put the cache back exactly where we found it. Now, when I talk to kids about this, they really understand this part, because they know that if it's moved, someone else who's then going to look for it later will not have the enjoyable experience, because they're going to spend all the time looking for something that's not even there. It really ties into the personal social values and skills that we're trying to teach through physical education and other subject areas, where this not only affects myself, but it will affect the learning of others if I'm not following procedures and putting things back exactly where I found them. Another point to make with the GPS unit is stems around the distance to, or getting moving in the right direction. So the compass will have a red arrow, and what kids will start to do is they'll just get so asphyxiated on the compass itself, and they'll start walking with the arrow and taking baby steps. The key on that screen for me is the distance to next. All right, and it's in the top right hand corner. We want the kids to understand that if they're 100 meters away, if we're talking math, they should be able to estimate what 100 meters is. So if they have that concept, they aren't going to be looking on the ground for something when they know they're 100 meters away still. And if they have that concept, an understanding of 100 meters, for example, they see the arrows sending them that way, they're just going to look out and say, well, maybe it's beyond that tree over there or whatnot, and they start walking together. If the number is getting larger as they're walking, they're obviously going the wrong way. So the tip I tell kids is get it on, get it around your neck, get it programmed, and start walking. Don't just take 1 or 2 steps. Start walking with your group. The arrow will lead itself to showing you where to go. But look at the numbers. If they get larger, you're going the wrong way. Okay? Don't take literally every little movement of the arrow. It's a guide, right? It's a way of travel. It's telling you which direction to go. So really think about that and stress that to the kids when they're using the compass on the GPS unit itself. Recommend that we do is I typically like to have a printout of the area we're going to be working in. And that's simply, can be done on Google Maps or Google Earth. I recommend Google Earth just because it's more realistic and it's neat for the kids to see where they are in relationship to maybe where their school is or whatnot. So I simply just take the outline of the boundary I want to use and I mark that in Google Earth. When the kids get a visual of where they can and cannot be, that's obviously a big help when it comes to hiding caches. Another great thing about this, and I'll talk about this more when we talk about actually setting up the course, is I can tell kids a general direction of where I want them to go to hide. Because if I don't, what ends up happening is you might have a whole bunch of caches all in the same area and very close to each other. So I wouldn't tell them exactly where to put it, but I can point to the boundaries and say, I want you guys to go that way, or girls, I want you to go over there and put one and then come back to our home base. So a map is always a good thing to have with the